Good day everyone, we are Group 4 and we will be presenting our instructional video. Members included in the group are Isabel Escleto, myself Francis Justin Eran, and Hannah Acut. We will be discussing exercise 6, the genetic disease web quest.
According to the National Human Genome Research Institute, many human diseases have a genetic component. A genetic disorder is a problem caused by one or more abnormalities in the genome. Most disorders are quite rare and affect a small percentage of the population, such as 1 out of several thousands or millions of individuals. Genetic disorders are more likely to run in families. Some of these genes may include the foundation of a genetic disease which parents pass on to their offspring. The scenario in this experiment states that in a remote community in Ireland, a mother has given birth to an infant. As soon as the infant is born, it dies. And soon, other infants also died. They noticed a high prevalence of mysterious infant deaths.
The objectives of this experiment are the following.
A. To diagnose the disease using the DNA sequence with the aid of Basic Local Alignment Search Tool or BLAST. B. To determine the disease's symptoms and possible treatments. C. To investigate the disease's hereditary patterns in families using genetic counseling. I'll now turn it over the discussion to Mima.
Thank you for that, Justin. We shall now focus on the methods of this experiment. Each member is a part of an elite medical investigation team called into action due to the high prevalence of mysterious infant deaths. As part of the investigation, the tasks are to determine the cause of these deaths and what can be done to save the lives of other children in the community. The medical investigation team has a DNA scientist, which is the role of Hannah Acut. She will investigate the structure of DNA and how it codes for proteins. An epidemiologist, which is the role of Isabel Escleto. She will study the history of the disease, including when and how it was discovered, when the genetic basis was determined, and how many people are affected and what are the risk factors. Next, the disease specialist, which is the role of Justin Eran. He will investigate the disease, its symptoms, and current treatment options. And lastly, the genetic counselor, which is also played by Hannah Acut. She will explore how genetic counseling works and use genetics to analyze inheritance patterns in families with diseases. Next, Justin and Hannah will discuss the methods of this experiment.
Preliminary investigation conducted
Revealed that all of the affected infants had 2 copies of the DNA sequence shown below. Meanwhile, the parents of the infants all mentioned that the children had sweat that seemed to be saltier than normal. It is the task of each member to discover the significance of this DNA sequence, determine how it relates to those with the disease, and describe its symptoms and possible treatments.
For this exercise,
You should use the online resources and websites to investigate DNA technology and perform a computational analysis of the DNA sequence that was found in the sick infants. Perform a blast search by entering the link below.
use the local alignment search tool to find regions of similarity between biological sequences online. The program will compare nucleotide or protein sequences to sequence databases and calculate the statistical difference.
The BLAST search compares the DNA sequence from the sick children to all known DNA sequences in the human genome.
Go to the nucleotide BLAST under the web BLAST. Afterward, copy the DNA sequence in the interquery sequence field. For the database search, choose Human Genome Plus Transcript. Under Program Selection, optimize for highly similar sequences or the MegaBLAST. Then, click on the BLAST tab below. Next, you will be directed to another page where you will view the report. After a few seconds, you will get several hits. Scroll down to the first result. Look at the comparison of the DNA sequences. Your sequence is on the top row and the BLAST sequence result is underneath your sequence. A vertical line between the two sequences indicates that they are identically matched. If no vertical line appears, it indicates that the sequence you entered has a mistake or a mutation. Get the name of the gene and search it under this site. In the link, the gene name was pasted in the search bar and the first link was selected. Discover and learn how the DNA sequence relates to the disease.
Another option is by clicking the gene name, which will then lead you to a different page listing all the known information about the gene, and then you will find the ID for the information of the gene disorder for this disease.
In the given DNA sequences, the results showed that the samples collected had a mutation in chromosome number 7, or the Cystic Fibrosis transmembrane conductance regulatory gene. The given DNA sequences were matched to a specific disease called cystic fibrosis. Now that you have matched the DNA sequence to a specific disease, your medical investigation team will need to do more research. Each of you should now take on the role of DNA scientist, epidemiologist, disease specialist, or genetic counselor.
And that concludes our report. Thank you for listening, everyone. We all hope you were able to learn something worthwhile from our instructional video.